All right, let's get it. What's going on, everyone? Today, as you can see, we here with Miss Chyna Fox. If those of you don't know her, check out her YouTube channel. Just type in the search Chyna Fox, and she'll pop up. As you can see, she has a "Do for Self" t-shirt on. I support that 100%. That is a good message to put out there.
Salute.
Definitely salute. So, Chyna,
yes.
Let everybody know who you are, where you come from, etc.
Okay, who I am. I am a 29-year-old Black woman from the South Side of Chicago. I was born on the South Side, raised in Harvey, Illinois. Shout out to Harvey World. I come from a long line of musicians, writers, entertainers, and, rebellious humans. And that has led me here.
All right, so
I do a lot of vlogging. I got most of my popularity from Facebook, which I have amassed more than 60,000 followers. And I recently made the decision to just cut it off totally because I was not allowed to. I was being censored. I was being shut down. So instead of allowing them to manipulate my voice, I created ChynaFox.com, and I write what I want, say what I want, speak how I want, and nobody can take that from me. That's it.
So why were they censoring you?
They're censoring me. Well, basically, it's Facebook is a racist, just like everything else, every other platform that they create. It's a racist institution. I wouldn't even call it like social media. It's an entire institution in which they put us in, right? So used to doing the same things and hearing the same things and, jumping on these trends and these fake news stories. And when someone is trying to break people away from that, then they become a problem. And, the last thing that I was doing on Facebook wasn't even the reason why I was getting banned. They kept throwing these arbitrary reasons for giving me bans. It was just ridiculous. So I decided to remove myself from it.
That's definitely a good thing that you did that. And a lot of people doing that. Some people going to Black Spot. Like I tell a lot of people, I don't really fool with Facebook like that. Yes, we have a Facebook fan page, but I'm not on there talking too much because I don't know. It just, I don't like the setup sometimes with Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
I rather talk more on Twitter, or I may say things on Black Spot. If you're not on Black Spot, join the brother over there on Black Spot. Or you can talk freely, and you don't have to worry about that brother banning you for saying anything on your page at blackspot.com. But
absolutely,
yeah, recently we seen that you were being featured all over the place about a video that you produced, and this video was in response to a lot of brothers caping for this female by the name of Rubia Garcia. Now she's this female out of Louisiana that's a teacher. She's been featured all over the place. Last time, I think when I seen the video response she did to you, she had some sort of, I don't know, braids or micro braids, whatever she tried to put in her hair. Really looked ridiculous that she had that in her hair. I didn't even know that wasn't even her name, and you called out her real name. So I don't know why she faking the funk like she has a Latino culture or something. But you said that these brothers were caping for her and calling her white bae. And could you kind of explain, what's kind of really set you off in that video to say, I'm turning on this camera, I'm going in?
Well, going back to what you said, I am on blackspot.com. I'm in talks with Blackspot TV to start providing more of our own media and our own news. So I definitely think that those are some great resources in which we can rely on. There's also turnerschurch.com, with Javon Clark and some other incredible Black men are pioneering to create social media sites. And so I'm a part of that as well. And there are other options. We do not have to stay stuck in a rut in which we are censored by any means. And that led to what you were just referencing to. So on YouTube, right? I didn't upload as many videos, so people didn't really get to know me as a person as they do on Facebook. It's a different dynamic, right? I don't have nearly as much content on YouTube as I do Facebook, and so as you know, as I said, my core audience is Facebook. So they have, even though there's a lot, they know me. The problem happened, right? A white woman tagged me in a video of Lindsay's, aka Rubia. So a white woman tagged me in this video, and she said, "Look at what's happening here." And I laughed, and I made a one sentence, and I said, "Okay, yes, I am the curse." I said, "Bitch, I hope your oily ass gets lice." Yes, I said that, right? So I took that screenshot of what I said, and I posted it to my Facebook. Now, I've seen Lindsay all over these internet streets, and there was always something that bothered me about her, but I didn't feel, I'm very rarely inclined to even address white people about what it is that they're doing, unless it directly affects us. So when I posted that screenshot of what I said, along with her picture in the micro braids, Black men started going nuts. Now, there was a huge variation in Black men were saying and what Black women were saying. Now, both of them were caping for this ungodly beast. And the problem happened not when the disagreement, not when the discussion, but when there were several Black men who I've shared conversations with, who I've shared space with, who I've shared private things with, and thoughts and thoughts of building with, that started calling Black women and bitter Black bitch, and this is why nobody wants you, and blah da 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 da. That was where the video came. That's why I produced that video.
Okay, so when I saw that video, it had a reoccurring theme that when they used the term white bae to her, it seemed like that term just really went through you like a hot knife through butter. Why is that?
Here's the thing though. I'm in control of my emotions, right? I was pissed off. I felt betrayed. And with that betrayal came hurt. I was hurt and I was pissed off, but I was very in control of my emotions. And I wanted to use these terms to, like you said, it was a theme. Okay, look at the TV show. I've never seen the movie, but look at the TV show, Dear White People.
Mm-hmm.
That is the vibe that was given through that TV show. Even the first episode, Sam White characters, the light-skinned, green-eyed chick, the mixed chick, who was the host of Dear White People. When the white man took a picture of her as she was getting dressed, that's what he called her. Hate it when Bay leaves. These titles that we give to these people to come into our communities, as if it's a pass, an invitation to the cookout. This is white bae. Oh, if I am to have a white girl, this is white bae. This is the one here. And so I wanted to take that term and deconstruct exactly what was happening with it. It's not as innocent as people make it seem. A white woman wearing cornrows or braids or locks or micros, and those weren't even micros, but a white person wearing those things, it's not as cut as it seems. It's not as innocent as it seems. And so I definitely like to use those words and terms to get it across. The culture that you've created is no longer yours, including the word bae, including the hair, including the vernacular. So that's why.
Well, when I was growing up in the definitely 80s and 90s, the moment that we noticed Caucasians using the slang that we were using, we immediately stopped using it and switched to something else, because you did not want to be saying the same words Caucasians are saying. and you did not want them to understand what you were saying. And we constantly kept doing that, but I noticed when it got to the 2000 generation and on, it's like terms that came up, y'all quickly to explain it. Even in comment sections, I see certain Caucasians asking, what does that mean? And black people, oh, it means this. I'm like, but they don't never tell you their code words or their dog whistle politics or nothing. Like,
Nope.
And they speak in code all the time.
Absolutely.
You know, so my thing that I saw you very upset in that video, and I got it. You know, some people say, oh, she hating. Some people, oh, she just a racist. I'm like, I hate when people use that term racist. Say, when in that video did you say you were superior to her due to your skin color? That's nothing you said or promoted. What you're saying is a problem that we do have in our community. And as I'm noticing a lot of brothers, they get mad at me at times when I say, look, if you don't get you a sister, get you at least a woman of color, at least. Leave them alone. That's what I tell them, right? Mm-hmm. And they get mad at me for saying that. Why can't we fool with them? What's wrong with Caucasian females? And they go in about it. It's like, it seems like some brothers have, like, they always say this, and I believe this to be true for some of them. I don't get why those females seem like a kryptonite to them, because they'll take one that's not worth crap and they'd be happy. But if it was a black chick, she got to look this way, she got to be this way, she got to talk this way. And the white female can have an attitude, they cool with it.
Absolutely. Now look, let's talk about it then. Let's talk about it. Just what you were saying. If a black woman had that same hairstyle, looking the same way, black men would call her nappy head, raggedy, not put together, because those micro braids looked trashy.
They did.
They were loose. Her edges was out of control. It was not together. It was not what black women, African women created. Something out of utility, something out of function, and turned it into style. You go to any African shop, they're going to have every single hair in place, baby, even if you don't want it. Your edges will be sharp, crisp, clean, beautiful. So the double standard is there, even with aesthetics alone. But simply because she was a white girl, it could look a mess and still be okay. It's still presentable because it's on white hair. You're absolutely right. White women are black man's kryptonite. But we have to look at the reason why white women are black men's kryptonite. And it's the same reason why humans are the way that they are and do the things, their motivations. Power. White women represent a power that was not attainable to black men before. Before, you would get your dick cut off, excuse my French, or English, or German. You would get your wang cut off and shoved in your mouth if you even looked at a white woman. And so now, with the acceptability of interracial marriage, interracial dating, them putting it on, media and movies and television and commercials, now it is seen that it is okay for them to do it. And so now they want to attain that power. Men do it across the board to women across the board, even within our own black relationships and black marriages. A lighter skinned woman with finer hair or funny colored eyes is seen as more of a status symbol than a darker skinned woman. And that's because of colorism. And these are all factions of white supremacy. I'm working on writing something now, tentatively titled The Hierarchy of White Supremacy, or the hierarchy of oppression, and in which we can break down these levels of who is in what position within white supremacy. When you mentioned dating another person of color, even if they aren't black, those people of color have a tendency to be anti-black just as well. Why? Because they understand the hierarchy of oppression. A Mexican girl understands that she is above a black girl or black woman on that hierarchy of oppression, on that totem pole. And she utilizes the tool of colorism. She utilizes the tools of white supremacy against those girls just as well. So that's why probably a lot of black men get upset with you, because they understand that they ain't shit either. they ain't shit either. They can use the tools of white supremacy against black people just as well. Now, it's not as likely as white women, but it's still there. There's levels to this. It's levels to this. Literally, there are levels to this. And so that's basically what it's come down to. You also said about younger people in the 2000s. I'm a millennial. Millennials, especially the younger end of the millennials, are all out of whack. We're confused. We've been thrown off base. We have the teachings of our parents and our grandparents, but just like any youth, we want to dismiss what they say and, oh, it's not like that anymore. Combat with that the imagery that we have from social media, from movies, from music. Every time you see one of your music or your stars or your rappers or your singers, your musicians, they're either with a light-skinned chick or a white woman, or a white woman who's trying to be a light-skinned chick. And these images, you know, when they have this money, they have this power, that's synonymous to them. And so they want to go for that. But what I also said in the video, or one of those videos, I don't even remember which one at this point, because I made two, but it is that today's standard of fighting racism is by having an interracial relationship and creating mixed children. Because we are allowed to mix with each other, because we are allowed to marry each other, it's seen as a sign of progression. And that's just not the truth. That's just not the case. It's covert white supremacy. That's why I call them crafty crackers. These motherfuckers are crafty, baby. They are crafty. They're not that bright, but they are definitely crafty. They definitely are quick with it.
Yeah, well, I was reading comments. I'm just looking at the same time, and let me clarify why I was saying that. Yes, anybody in any group can be bigoted toward anybody else. That's true. I definitely could say that. But when I said that, because those groups, I'm just trying to give just just cover all bases. Other groups have no power to. For instance, if you go apply for a job, Chyna, those other groups really can't oppress you systematically, like the Caucasian can. Whether it's a black woman, Asian, whatever other groups, they can discriminate against you personally, possibly, but it's not systematically like the jail system, the laws. Look at what Trump and them doing every day. Look what they doing here in Texas. I mean, who's in control of all these laws? And that's why I try to point out to these other groups who don't. Some of them don't, not all, because I met some real people in every group, and I met some fake ones too, and some coons, right? Mm-hmm. But I tell them, I think it's more dangerous to fool with Caucasian females, because those same Caucasian females have a history of having you strung up on a tree. You can fool with them, they'll call rape. And then you have people in our own group, let's talk about that, the feminists, that would jump in the bandwagon with those same Caucasian females to destroy the black man. Like they jumped on the bandwagon with Nate Parker. Okay, Nate Parker was acquitted, and yet the black feminists jumped on to destroy him. The Bill Cosby situation, whether you agree with that or not, that's the situation that I saw. It was just a hit piece on this man. He's still trying to get him. Okay, but yet these same black feminists don't stand up for black women. You have Charlene Lyles haven't said a word about that sister that was gunned down by those pussified police in Seattle. Sandra Bland, they didn't come out defending that sister. It's many of them. You just had a black woman, I think, on I don't know if you saw that video where this white dude was calling all kind of B words and whatever, and that brother went hit him in his mouth. Now I don't see them coming out defending those sisters. That's what I'm saying is that we have to look at what we're doing as a group, because I get why a lot of black women can't stand Caucasian females. I'm telling you, I've seen it in the workforce. It's like they look at y'all, and they always looking at y'all with this look of contempt. And it's like the more a woman looks, I guess, attractive, and like the more attention that she get from black men, it seems that she hate that woman more. And I don't get it.
You talking about from white women?
Yes, I've seen it. Look, I've been many examples I've seen Caucasian women either jealous of black women with their looks or jealous when they get attention. And they don't like when black men like just pass them by. I don't think they crap.
I get it. I get it. To go back to what you said about some black people can be the worst perpetuators of white supremacy. They absolutely can be the worst perpetuators of white supremacy. And this does include, now I don't call myself a feminist. I do not, I shy away from aligning myself with any group, because I do know that when you gather people together, the spirit of confusion will follow. And I tend to, especially at a time right now, I don't like what I've been seeing. For instance, I was in New York during the president's inauguration, because I am that person. I wanted to see what was going on in the New York streets. And during that week that I was there, the Women's March was there. And I had a meetup of all my New York comrades, and we got together and we were just discussing different things, race, color, creed, politics, all that good stuff. And there was a black woman who came who was a little bit late because she went to the Women's March. And I asked her, I'm like, why were you there? What were you going there for? And she said, I wanted to support women and show my solidarity for womanhood. And I said, and then she told me, she's like, yeah, some of the white women were looking around, and I was one of the only black women there. And they were looking, and they asked me, where are all the black women? Now that right there just solidified this point of, constantly black women are seen as the workhorse and the mule of society. And this is why I think it's important to understand the hierarchy of oppression, because when we look at the hierarchy of oppression, women are at the bottom of the totem pole. Because even though we are so-called double minorities and we're female and we are black, the white female is still on top of us. That white woman, when she says that she makes 75 cents on the dollar, she's talking about the white man's dollar and the white woman's 75 cents. Because the black woman makes 63 cents on that same white man's dollar. So the feminism that they're fighting for does not include us. We are only included in their feminism for validation. That's the only reason why we're included in their feminism. They don't give a damn about us. They will use us like mules and workhorses. That's why I'm not marching for you. You better get your ass over here on 47th and Halsted and march for me. So anyway, when it comes down to, like you were saying about different races, I can't see myself with anybody other than a black man. I really can't. I can't even see myself with, like I said, I was raised in Harvey world. I was raised a certain type of way. And I've seen things, and I need a black man that's going to be able to understand where I come from and why I am the way that I am. Otherwise, we're not gonna be able to come together too well. And what, because I was about to go off on a tangent on this feminism shit. What did you say before?
No. Like I said, let me clarify once again. I was saying what I tell brothers. I wasn't saying for you or nobody else what to do. I'm just telling them. I'm saying, in other words, if you gonna do it, if my brother, if you gonna do it, just not them. That's what I'm saying. Because that comes more of a problem. That's why I speak to them on now.
Let's hold that for the email later. Let's hold that thought for the email later, because I'm gonna tie that in real nice.
Go tie that in real quick. But yeah, about the feminism, everything you just said, for me personally, I'm doing this. Because if we have that attitude in our community, we won't have the problems, because those females say nothing for anything except for them. And you have to understand, they control money, they control the laws and the government, but we control the majority of the culture. If we don't solidify anything, it don't work. That's why they fence us. And I'm going to bring it back to the LGBTQ stuff. The reason why we are attacked so much on that, all blacks are homophobic, which no, we're not. Because everybody can tell you in the hood, you know, somebody that was that way, and nobody attacked them or beat them up or nothing and say, hey, he's just that way or she's that way. It is what it is. I know two people in particular on top of my mind right now. In my old neighborhood, we knew they was that way and nobody did them anything. Treat them no different, right? But they want us to solidify their movement, okay? Because if we solidify it, then it'll be more acceptable. And see, the thing is, there are people that are LGBT that are black. And they're finding out that there's a bunch of Caucasian supremacists in the LGBT movement, and that movement wasn't for them. You're still, no matter what you are in this country, Chyna, you're black first.
Right.
Everything else is second. Correct. And they find that out, like they say, oh, my rights. And they find out, wait a minute, these people don't like you either. They used your voice. They used your so-called president to speak and fuel their movement. Now Trump coming in and about to tear that down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I was speaking on this yesterday in one of my live videos. When they said that they legalized gay before they legalized black, I don't think that's accurate. They've legalized being white. They are looking at white people first and all of the aspects of being white. So gay folks, the law was made for white gays. The laws are being changed for white gays, and people of color and black folks are just gaining access by proxy just because they fall under that classification. Similar to feminism, gay pride and LGBTQ is not, it actually technically was created for us. It was created by us, just like every goddamn thing else, and was stolen from us. Marsha P. Johnson in the Stonewall riots was the woman, the trans woman, who took a brick and busted a cop on the top of his dome and said, leave us alone. Marsha P. is the one that created the movement. And they took it and used, and she wound up floating in the Hudson River. Nobody knows what happened or who killed her, but that's another example of the things that were started by us. Okay. I do believe that we are black first. When you're walking down the street and they see your complexion and they see your skin color or they see your hair or they know what neighborhood you live in, they don't see, oh, that's a non-binary person. That's a trans person. That's a bisexual, omnisexual, pansexual person. They see a black person. However, I do not agree that black people are not homophobic. Where I come from, absolutely. Before I met my best friend, he was getting beat up every day, followed home from school every single day, harassed, talked about. When I got to that school and threatened to literally slit some throats, that's when they backed up off of him. So I see it every day. The words that black people use in reference to trans people or gay people is violent. We have a tendency, and this is what I want to say about feminism and gay rights. The reason why black women align themselves with feminism is because they're misguided. And we have a need that's not being met. That's why we are deluding ourselves. We are allowing ourselves to be deceived because we see a need that could possibly be met. This goes really deep. This is really what I've been writing about in hierarchy of oppression, hierarchy of white supremacy. There are levels to this, and to ignore the fact that women, black women, are the footstools of the entire world is not doing any justice for the entire black community. Just akin to black women uniting with these white women for these problems. When I said that white women make 75 cents to the white man's dollar and black women make 63 cents to the white man's dollar, black men make 81 to 83 cents to that white man's dollar. Where are the black men helping us out. There's a problem with the Black community. We are attacking each other. We are attacking each other for the sake of others. And we are not looking at the real deal problems. We're not listening to each other. We're not being empathetic with each other. We would rather join the feminist movement. We would rather join the gay pride movement. We would rather be over here in the brotherhood because the brothers don't understand us the way the women do. You want to talk about gay agenda? That's some gay ass shit right there. If ignoring your woman and ignoring her suffering, ignoring her problems, ignoring her pain, ignoring her voice, baby, that's the gay agenda if I've ever heard one. So I feel.
Hold on. We got to scale that back. Why did you say it's a gay agenda?
When you ignore your woman.
But it has nothing to do with sexual orientation.
It's extreme. See, and this is the thing. This is the see, Lord, I guess we're gonna get into it. Let's get into it. Not necessarily so, right? Not necessarily you're saying you want to fall in love with a man. But when you spite, and they say it constantly about feminists. I get called a lesbian feminist probably on a day-to-day basis. When you align yourself with your brothers, instead of listening to your woman, if you just put your finger in your ear and say, hey, I must hang out with a bunch of dudes and listen to them, what else do you call it? Let's say homoerotic. It's homoerotic. Absolutely.
Chyna, can't we just call it that this guy just not mature and he's just hanging out with guys at this point? Why we have to refer it to a sexual sense on immaturity or disagreement on opinion or not taking leadership in our community? That's something I do have an issue with as a black man, and I'm going to speak on that. Why is it that we got to go there when we disagree with each other, especially with men? Because just much I told you about the pussified thing is an attack on manhood. When a black woman tells a black man, you must be gay or you're gay or something like gay, like why has it go to sexuality? Why can't we just articulate those concerns that you just said on immaturity? Because that's basically what you're talking about. Immature guys want to hang out with guys all day, don't want to solve his issues at home with his woman. With his children, etc.
Immaturity, right? For a guy to hang out with guys all day. You hang out with guys all day doesn't make you gay. That's not the only component that I just said. That's not immaturity. That's violence. That's abandonment. That's way more than immaturity. That is not. You can't say that's an attack on manhood when that you cannot be a man. That's not a principle of manhood. You ignoring your woman. That's how can you claim manhood when you're doing the exact opposite of what it takes for you to be a man, for you to claim it in the first place. So it's not men hanging out with men. It's like women hanging out with women is not a lesbian or a gay tenant. No, that's not what I mean. But what I'm saying is, if you are ignoring your woman and her plight and her words and what she is saying, and totally dismissing her, and then you get mad and shocked when she aligns herself with white women who are dangling a fucking dream in front of her face, dangling it like a steak to a hungry person, and then you get mad and then call that woman a lesbian. Come on. It's ridiculous.
But then I can go back now. We about to go back, scale that back to personal responsibility at that point. Okay, well, if you got involved with that dude, then why is it that she wasn't a good assessment of character to find out if this man was a mature enough man to be in a healthy and productive relationship? Why is that?
Because we're not talking about personal accountability. We are talking about the systemic infection of white supremacy. And a part of that is patriarchy. A part of that is sexism. A part of that is misogyny. The Europeans follow a code of patriarchy. They have introduced us, and let's not get social patriarchy. Let's not get a man being the head of the household confused with systemic patriarchy. Patriarchy must have the oppression of women. It must have the oppression of women. It must limit the power that a woman could possibly wield. That's what patriarchy within white supremacy does. It's not talking about the family dynamic of the man being the head of the household and being the breadwinner or whatever social roles that they take on. So that's not what somebody got that confused when I said that yesterday, that I was attacking men being the head of the household. No, that's not the case. But it's not personal accountability. Do I believe that women should be more mindful of who we become partners with? Absolutely. But I don't think y'all are gonna like what that leads to. I don't think men are gonna like what that leads to. I don't think women are gonna like what that leads to either. But I think we have to recognize as men and women how much this argument here of the reason why feminism is bullshit, and the reason why Black women align themselves to feminism, the reason why Black, gay, trans, LGBTQ plus, I don't know, and everything else aligns themselves with gay pride, is because there is a need that is missing from our community. There is a huge disparity from what we're getting. A person doesn't cheat on their boyfriend or girlfriend or cheat on their husband or their wife because they're happy and fulfilled. They cheat because they're missing something. They cheat because they're lacking something. And that's not necessarily the fault of the partner, but of the institution itself. The institution is missing something. We need to figure out what's missing. And you know, I am definitely radical. I'm a very radical woman. I'm very progressive. I am for all Black people, no matter what size, shape, height, sexual orientation, gender. I don't care if you are a trans kumquat. I don't care if you are a trans light bulb. If you are a Black person, our best chance at thriving, because we've only been surviving, our best chance at thriving is uniting together and fulfilling our needs and wants from within our own community. And we're not doing that.
Yeah, now you mentioned all these other groups, including us, but it centers back, even talking about the Black man, and you're saying that, you know, why they join in feminism and about the money aspect and so on and so on. Well, you know, if we really be honest here and refer back to the history, after we came out of slavery, right? We, with our own two hands, with no help from the white man at all, no welfare, no food stamps, no nothing. We, Black men, Black women, built 60 towns, whole towns, not a hood, towns of our own. I know, of course, we talk about Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. They call it also Little Africa, Rosewood, Slocum, Texas, all the different ones that we have done. And they have, you know, literally burned down or ran us out of town because we didn't have guns, took all our possessions with time that could make damage. See, other groups come over here. They don't have to worry about when you set up Chinatown, a mob of Caucasian terrorists running in there and running them out their businesses that they built with their own hands, their restaurants, their schools, and so on and so on. And with time, you know, it do make a person like China. If you build a house and every time you build a house, you had about 30 Caucasians come destroy, you move to another place, build another house. After you build so many houses, the wind will be taken out of your sails. And that's our issue. We've been fighting from day one to now. The civil rights movement fought. What did they do, our leaders? They killed Martin. They killed Malcolm. They killed a lot of the Black Panthers. Or they had to go exile. I mean, every time we have something, they come with the governmental power to take down strong Black men who were leading their families. So then you have that big, you know, gap that happened, especially with the crack epidemic, right? You had a whole generation of Black men that they call today with heroin and crystal meth. Oh, it's a medical condition. They was getting years upon years sentences. I had Maria Lloyd here yesterday. Her father, and it was sad, got 15 life sentences. They didn't even catch him with drugs or with a gun or anything, just off of informants. That sort of crap. But a white boy they caught with drugs, he got 15 years and now he out speaking everywhere, talking about his former life. So the thing is, people talk about Black men a lot and what we don't do, but historically, Black men has always been there fighting, trying. Black men unemployment is larger, of course, because the Caucasian male hate us. They don't like us. They don't. They look at us as their direct competition They rather side with sisters because, you know, they'll submit to them a little bit more. Not all, not saying you will, but they may submit. But us as men, they know any little ground we get, we take over. I mean, look at what we do in society as brothers, right? And we are attacked the most. You know, I know they attack black women, yes, but who they constantly keep killing? Black men. Constantly. Police, they put an extra time on black men, and it has an effect on our families. And it has an effect on the children as well. And that's the only thing I'm just saying with the situation. Black men get beat up a lot.
I agree. I agree. And if there's anything that I've learned from having a platform and having people watch me, is I gotta take the punches. If I am to continue to do what I do, the way that I do it, with the tone that I do it in, with the logic that I bring, with the thoughts that I bring, I gotta be able to take them punches and get up. I gotta keep it moving. And you're absolutely correct. They constantly beat all of us. They constantly parade these images out to us. It's okay for them to show the imagery of a girl being hanged by white men. It's okay to show the imagery of a 14-year-old black girl being raped. It's okay to show the imagery of a black boy laying dead in the street for 4 hours, being shot in front of his daughter and his girlfriend. It's okay to show a black man being choked to death. That's fine. We are being desensitized. We are being intentionally made tired. We have to get our mental fortitude together, our mental strength together. We have to do that. Now, this is not to say that I feel black men are weak. This is not to say that I feel black men are useless. I don't have a point. I have the most amazing black men in my life. I have 4 brothers. I had the most incredible, brilliant father that taught me the importance of being steadfast, the importance of being rebellious, importance of not shutting up. I would not be who I am without black men. And so I have a high standard for black men. I have a high standard for black women. I don't want to pull no punches. We don't need to be babysat and coddled. We don't need that shit. We need to get punched in the gut and stand up and take another one and still keep it moving. See, what you were saying is absolutely correct. After slavery, after the Emancipation Proclamation, we went on to do amazing things. Why? We had no choice. There was no illusion of choice. This idea of us believing in the American dream is one of the things that keeps us behind. The fact that we can gather up $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 and go on a splurge in Chanel and Gucci and Prada and Louis. And that gives us this feeling of freedom and choice and value and worth. It's bullshit. It's a lie. We need to develop our mental fortitude and understand that everything that we see here from this social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Fox News, whatever it is, music, movies, be able to enjoy that entertainment, but to be able to know that it's a mother-loving lie. So what I say is never to divide black people. It's never to separate us and pit us against each other. It's to put us together. You're not going to fix nothing without talking about the problem. You're not going to fix anything without people constantly ask me, oh, what's the solution? What's the solution? The solution is in the problem. When you understand the problem, you immediately know the solution and you can get to working on it. This has, like, this is why I call them crafty crackers. They are crafty. They know what they're doing. They get it. It's a shining beacon of light. Okay, and the problem, what you were saying, we build something up, they take it away. We build something up, they come with rocks. We build something up and we get rocks. Now they coming with guns. We build something up with guns and now they coming with rockets and bombs. We gotta think like a savage. We have to think like these savages. If we don't, we will continue to lose. If we continue to join, and look, this is gonna sound some type of way, but if we continue to join organizations like Black Lives Matter, where we're sitting up like docile Negroes with our hands up, don't shoot. Well, they shooting us anyway. Now what? We sitting there with our signs up saying no justice, no peace, F the police. Well, there's no justice. Now what? Why is there so much peace? We got to start thinking like a savage. And when I say that, I don't even mean rioting in the streets. I don't even mean, punching out white supremacists. I mean that savage mentality, that savage mind of being able to say, like with Rubia Garcia. Rubia didn't make me mad. She was a typical white woman doing white woman shit. Why am I gonna get mad? Why am I gonna get mad for scratching at the door trying to come in? That's what they do. Why am I gonna get mad at the dog for chewing on my flip-flop? That's what dogs do. It should be expected. So put your damn shoes up. That's what we need to do. We gotta expect what they are going to do. We should have no surprises. We shouldn't be angry that the system is working perfectly the way it is. We sit up here and get surprised when Philando Castillo's a murderer gets off. Before that live video ended, I was watching it and I knew he was gonna get off. I already knew. Why didn't we? Why didn't all of us?
I just kind of expect it now. Just to be honest with you, I said, "Oh, they're gonna get off because they rig it." See, this is what happened. It's a progression. At first, Black Lives Matter. I didn't agree with them in a whole lot of ways, but they did a few things that I agree with.
Oh yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
For instance, when the cops wasn't going, not even getting charged, they was organizing to get the DAs voted out, which was great, and that happened even right here in Houston. DA got voted out. And they got a new DA in, and they put out their message, look, if you don't act right, we're going to get you out too. The cops are all of a sudden start getting charged, and the DAs start getting put out. Now the DAs is trying to get crafty, like you said, and then they say that, well, let's rig the jury, because in that process, they pick jurors. They know who they picking
Yep.
before you even go over there.
Absolutely.
Okay? They pick people because they profile them based on race, based on political affiliation, and these prosecutors want to get these cops off, so when they get off, people are mad at the jury and not mad at the prosecutor. But I was saying, like the Philando Castillo situation, that okay, this is John Choi. He is the DA. When he comes up for re-election, vote him out. If we start doing that too, like if you don't win this case, you're gone too. That sort of thing, I think it would make a difference. But what you were saying earlier, you say about people like Rubia, Garcia, and all these other ones. Women like that, to me, and a lot of black men, to tell you that, they really trashy. Because one thing most people can't stand is the black-white girl. like if you want Lakeisha, just go get Lakeisha. We don't want Lindsay trying to act like a white version of Lakeisha. I'm serious.
That's the thing, though. That's this. If you've looked at the media, I don't know if you saw these freaking abominations of life. Those Jenner girls.
Oh, don't start with. Oh boy, I was pissed off when I saw that this morning. I couldn't believe that. My thing, look, no. Oh man, I don't know if y'all saw them T-shirts. Them Neander thieving thoughts, okay? We call them Neander thieves here. These Neander thieving thoughts sat there and took pictures of Tupac and Biggie, put it on a shirt, then overlaid their pictures on top of those brothers' pictures. It was so tacky. On one shirt, Kylie took a screenshot from her, I think it was Instagram, and colored it and did an overlay of that too. And I'm like, well, they just do it to Tupac and Biggie. They did to Ozzy Osbourne and Kiss too. So Sharon Osbourne was pissed off about that when I was looking into it. But the fact is how tacky, and they were selling these shirts for $125.
And the most evil to me is they didn't even ask Biggie's mom.
No.
They didn't even ask his mama. And Miss Shakur is gone. Tupac's mother is gone. They have no respect. They have no respect, but we should expect for them to not have any respect. My issue then with that Lindsay Garcia video, with that Lindsay McIntyre video, is the same that it is now. It's not the beast. It's not the nature of the beast. It's us bowing down to it. How could you bow down to that? So when you sit up here and you got Kylie Jenner spray painting herself, wishing and hoping that she could wake up, she probably prays every single night that she'll wake up a caramel skinned black woman, and then puts on her makeup every morning so that that's the image that she portrays. When you defend that, when you defend the fact that they are spitting on Sarah Bartman and all of the years that she was tortured based upon her body, her breasts, her ass, her legs, her hips, her thighs, her vagina, her reproductive organs, when they try to emulate those things and you make excuses for it, because earlier what you said that in the 80s and the 90s, when white people would ask you, well, what does this mean? What does that mean? Or when they started using the slang, you stopped using it, right? Now, it's almost as if we want them to use it, almost as if we are giving them everything that we have, absolutely everything that we create, our brain children, our intellectual property, our vernacular, our slang. We're giving them everything and we're getting nothing in return. So are you surprised that she would do something like that? She feels like she owns us. She owns us.
With that situation, it goes back to those brothers, Chyna, and it goes back to those brothers. These females always got a brother somewhere around them or on their arm, and not because that's call it what it is. It's not a bunch of Caucasian males that's propping up the Kardashians and Kylie Jenner. It's black dudes, and like I say, Kanye. Like I don't get it. Cause see, when I was growing up, you don't marry the stripper, the slut, or whatever. You just don't. Like they've been ran through. Why do you want your child to come through that? And black men have gotten so low in their self-esteem about themselves that you will sit here and have children marry a woman, Kanye. Marry a woman that every dude in California then ran through and all through the world. Black dudes and ran through this chick, and you walking around booed up with her talking about this is my wife? Like, I don't get, like, you got money, you got reach, fame, you can get the best of the best in the world if you want. Why that? And that's what I don't understand. Black men are making a deal dating strippers. Like, do you see what she do for a freaking living? She back there working for Bell and them from Willie Dynamite. That's who she working for. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, but I don't get these brothers, and they boo up with them. They happy with them, and if you say something, man, you just hating. Like, hating on what, my brother? I mean, she's worth crap. And then this freaking Kylie, she sat up there. When you seen this girl, you see this paper I got in my hand, Chyna?
I see it.
Okay, this is basically these girls' two lips right here. What I got in my hand. This girl went sit up there and bought all that mess on her face and whatever. You get these black dudes get with her, have a kid with her. Them ugly jeans still gonna come to your kid, you fool.
I'm trying to tell you.
Paper thin lips. That old her face look like a freaking rock head. Nose all screwed up.
She done shaved that nose down, shaved that chin down, shaved that jawline down. But that DNA does not lie.
No, it don't lie.
As many tans as you want to. You can fill them lips in as much as you want to and raise them brows and fill in them cheekbones. DNA don't lie. And you're correct. When we see that they are, it's typical. It's typical. When you look back in time, right, and you see the white woman wiles, okay, they used black men. Don't get it confused. We are still seen as sexual objects. we are lusted after. We are exotic and thrilling and exciting and different. We are a fetish, a fetish that a forbidden temptation. White women loved black men just as much 100, 200 years ago as they do today. And they used black men in the same way that they do today, except for it's acceptable to marry them and it's acceptable to have them on their arms and have their babies. You can have as a white person, you can have a mixed race child, still be a racist. You can still be a racist. You can still be a bigot.
Yep.
Just because you like black dick don't mean you like black people. Just because you like black penis don't mean you like black women. You mess around and have a black daughter, she grows up. How many videos have you seen of these white women calling their black daughters N-words?
Oh yeah.
Of them calling them nappy-headed. Talking bad about their black father in front of them. How many videos have you seen of these white women doing it? They didn't care about their black girl becoming a black woman. They cared about their black penis. And they were willing to, once they had what they wanted, to discard of everything that came after it. It should be expected. And these it's time to throw these little bitches away. It's time to toss these broads away. It's time to toss Amber Rose away too. Throw her bald head ass away. Put her in the trash, baby. If she don't want to be black, don't let her. Put her ass in the trash. Throw her away. And what you said about, these self-proclaimed whores and hoes and thots and sluts, hoe is life. Again, I'm very radical. I'm very progressive. I feel like you should do as you please with your body, as long as you're taking care of yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. And what these women are not, they are not giving that. They're saying, I watched the Amber Rose show one day. She said, I want 5 boyfriends. I'm going to have 5 boyfriends. I'm going to have them all in rotation. And I'm going to have them all throughout the week. Just a different boyfriend all throughout the week, right? I'm like, all right. Let me finish watching this show before I run my mouth. Let me just watch all of it. It was hard, but I got through 1.5 shows. Not one point did she talk about condoms. Not one point did she talk about going to the doctor. Not one point did she talk about emotional health. Not one point did she talk about psychological health. And this woman claims that she is not a black person. But we got black girls and women looking up to her. And we got black men wanting to be with her, even though she does not give a damn about the black community. So
that's quite confusing. Why Amber Rose, Chyna, because if you look at the documentary called Light Girls, she was in there talking about what she go through as a light-skinned person.
You got it. See, I didn't even want to watch that trash. I don't want to see no shit about no light. Don't get me started, man. Don't get me started. Now I gotta watch this. Now I gotta watch it. Now I'm mad. First of all, I don't want to hear the plight of no fucking light-skinned girl. Okay, I am the captain of the light-skinned committee. All right, I understand. Yes, I got my pigtails cut off when I was in elementary school. I had a girl push me down, she rubbing my eyes, saying that I was wearing contacts. I was called white girl because I enjoy enunciating my words and I like to read. I got called all different types of things, but I'm not 10 years old anymore. Okay, I'm a grown woman now. And when I walk out into that world, the world treats me a certain way. If I straighten my hair and toss my hair around, the world will treat me a different way than a dark-skinned black woman, than a dark-skinned, dark-eyed black woman. So I don't want to hear no motherfucking light-skinned tears. And the audacity of her to go on that, oh my God. See? I gotta watch this.
You gonna go in there when you see it? I remember seeing her on there. I said, they got Amber Rose on this documentary. I said, yeah, I'm pretty sure maybe you can find a clip of it on YouTube. You probably gonna make a video.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that. She's openly said that she's not a black woman. She's openly said this, but she's some damn nerve to cry these damn light tears. That's the worst. Mm-hmm. A fucking a river of tears from a mixed race person. Shut up. Be quiet.
Yeah, well, what I was saying earlier about the dudes, in that sense, I want these brothers to have good families, right? And I understand that you can't really, build a proper family, and your woman, in her past and who she is and her tendencies do come into the future children you're gonna have. And as a man, do you want to have a child with a woman that think it was okay to run through a bunch of dudes for money? That may pass on to your future daughter.
That is absolutely legitimate.
I'm just saying, as a man, and we were talking about the men need to be leaders in the community. Well, back in the day, way back when they had, kings used to pick women, kings would have women go through a 6-month process before you even meet them. I mean, that go with beautification, exercise, diet, the way they adorn them. They didn't bring no woman to them that had just been with every guy in the kingdom, and they brought to them, of course, at that time period, virgins. Don't expect nobody to be no virgin. Come on now, let's be real. No, but what I'm saying is, regular people, somebody that's just dating in a relationship, not your local stripper at a strip club. And now you're talking about, oh, this is my girl. Like, really?
It's that instant gratification society. We just want something, we want it now. It looks good. It may not be good for us, but if it looks good and tastes good temporarily, that's what we want. That is the height of glory. And especially I'm all for, in particular, Black women owning their sexuality and not being limited based upon the world standards and us being objectified. We're constantly objectified. White men don't like us any better than they like you. They don't love us any better than they love you. The only thing is
not according to the swirlers.
Not according to what?
The swirlers.
You don't get me started.
They're the better men. Remember, those same females said, if you having what one of them say, and the brothers put me on that, I'll never forget that. If you're pregnant, it's a Black male child, abort it. Like I said, you talk about brothers all day long.
What?
I've never heard brothers say, abort a Black female child. That was the sickest thing I ever heard in my life.
You gotta be kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding. They passed me that link. I said, man, that is the nastiest thing I ever heard somebody say. Them females hate Black men. You know what I'm saying? Y'all talk about the dudes that saying they don't date Black women. That's okay. That's bad. But these females talking about, they don't care if we get shot down and all this other stuff. Like, and those same females, they hate white women too. They can't stand white women, but they go lay up with a white man. See, we can go through all that too, because why is it acceptable for them to do it?
That white
Black man doing his own. We gonna keep the same standard of let's leave these white people alone. Don't say, oh well, Serena, it's okay. I mean, like, come on. She would have gave her brother a chance. But like, think about it. Serena's worth $150 million. This dude is a nerdy Black man. Wouldn't even had a chance. And you know what he gonna do? I'm gonna tell you what he gonna do. He gonna do the what Halle Berry got done to her. He gonna have that baby. He gonna leave. He gonna get a bunch of child support, and she gonna be looking stupid.
Terrible. I what's interesting about Janet Jackson? Now before I left Facebook, we had this running joke, right? We were we were in this group, and we had this running joke, and we were conspiring to I told this Black man, go get you an old white woman. She got to be about to die. Go ahead and marry her and get them reparations back. Now look, when it comes to these celebrities, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a totally different world. It's like a totally different back when Venus was 14 years old and Serenity was 14 years old, 30 years old, and they were fighting for what they have now. I feel like we could relate more, but now they're in this stratosphere that I can't relate to. And so I need time to really think about the dynamics between Black wealthy people marrying outside. I don't get it personally. I don't see it. I don't see it. I really don't see it. I will type
I see people in the comment section talking about, oh, Serena dated black. I never said she didn't date black men. That's not what I said. I'm just saying that why is it accepted for her to do that? But if a black dude in his status, let's say maybe he was just as, let's say if LeBron James, he's married to a black woman. But let's say if he got with a white woman, right? Come on. And he was single. Don't tell me that would be accepted.
No, I'm not saying it. Well, a lot of them marry white women. A lot of our black athletes, black male athletes, marry white women.
But it's not accepted.
And I mean, I don't really hear anybody complaining. Well, within our groups, within the thinkers, yes, I do hear, questions about people are rich marrying outside. But I don't know if this was a video I did on YouTube or if I did this on Facebook. It comes into question why money makes you think that, if you get enough money, you can avoid your color or you can avoid white supremacy or racism. And so I think a lot of black men and women feel as if money removes white supremacy, and it doesn't. They'll get their wake up. They'll get their wake up call. Cole got his, but he had to stay put. Otherwise, she was gonna take all of that.
Oh, Vanessa, yeah, Vanessa put him in check. I remember Vanessa, boy, she was coming. He went over there and fooled with that Cave Becky, and boy, Vanessa was waiting right at the moment he get off that basketball court. She was standing right there with them kids. I was like, boy, he is messed up. She was at the game. She was everywhere. Cause he would been up a creek if she'd went divorcing. That's California.
Yeah, no, and they something about recently she was threatening divorce after they'd been married 10 years. She would get half.
Yeah.
Look, man.
Yeah. He chilled his nerves.
But I feel like we need to be more. This is the thing. As I go on and with my understanding, I'm starting to give less and less and less of a damn about our celebrity. And I'm a musician. If I didn't have a choice to be a musician, this is just my natural talent. This is what my father taught me. My father couldn't teach me how to be a plumber because he's a musician. That's what he did. He taught me how to play. I know I got all my instruments across my wall back there. That's just what I do. But these people that we hold in this high regard, that are feeding us nonsense, that really aren't feeding us anything, that aren't doing anything for their community. You look at LeBron. I don't know why people I'm not really like a sports person, I guess. I don't know why people hate LeBron so much. He got a black wife, he got black kids, he gives back to black students, black communities, black homes, black college funds. I don't know what else it is that people want him to do because he gets mad at it.
He a black man. He could never do the right thing, and people still have a problem with him. I mean, that's it.
Never. And so, when we have celebrities like that, I think that's justified to look at him with some reverence or some admiration. I think that's justified. The rest of them, they don't give a damn about our communities. They don't give a damn. They don't care. And we got people out here in the community who are pretending to care about black people and black community, and they're only using it as a platform to get money. They're only holding these conversations and speaking these words to get money. And we letting these fucking Caucasoids come into our communities just because they wear Black Lives Matter t-shirts. I made this reference. I had this cave beast try and get my attention, and he makes videos about me and chops up my videos and doing all of this other stuff. And I blocked him, I deleted him because he was just that pointless, useless, right? But he had black people that were cheering him on and laughing at his jokes simply because he was wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. Simply because he had a couple videos that went viral of him talking back down to white people and racism. It can't be that easy for these people to come into our cookout. He made a whole video saying that I wasn't invited to the cookout, and black people were agreeing with him. Now, listen to me. Look, if we're gonna talk about the cookout, you could come to the cookout. You gotta bring something. We're constantly inviting white folks to the cookout, and by cookout, I mean marriage, I mean having children with. I mean, getting into to business partnerships, which is, for me, marriage. Doing these things with these crafty crackers. And when they come to the cookout, they're empty-handed. They didn't bring a cup. They didn't bring some plates. They didn't bring napkins. They didn't even bring the damn Kool-Aid. They ain't brought nothing to the cookout. But you just welcome them in. Welcome them in. Come on. Come on. You invite.
So basically what you're saying is if they do come to the cookout in turn, they better be using a white privilege to benefit your community.
They need to pay for every goddamn thing in the cookout.
Right, as a reparation.
And then leave.
Yeah. Somebody said these Caucasian
somewhere else.
YouTubers are sneaky. Like I said, I don't engage Caucasians online. I just refuse to at this point because I'm not trying to speak to them. I'm not trying to correct them, go back and forth with them. Now listen, I go back and forth with black people. I even go back and forth with the black coons. I'll go back and forth with them too, but not them. I refuse to speak to them. They can make 100 videos if they want about me. Huh?
They're not worth your time.
No. I learned that they are a distraction from the devil.
Their minds. Never. And that's another thing. Like black folks, we have this like the empathy that we do have, it's used against us. And we keep trying to explain, well, this is wrong because of this reason, and this is racist because of this reason. You don't have to explain racism to no white person. They know what the fuck they doing. You don't have to explain what's wrong. You don't have to explain. Slavery didn't end because of a sudden awakening of morals. It was about money. It was about power. It was about economic institutions. That's what slavery was about. Not because it was the right thing to do. So trying to impede onto the moral fibers of a person who has none is a waste of time. Hell no.
Exactly. Then they talk about. Then they love to come up to, black people. We helped free you during the Civil War. I'm like, you lying, fork-toothed tongue. Come on now. Black people fought for their own freedom in the Union Army. Matter of fact, they also fought in Confederate too, reluctantly. Go watch the movie Glory if you don't believe black people fought. Black people actually fought. They didn't on the plantation say, "Oh, I hope the good white people win."
Right. Exactly.
They didn't say that.
Slaves fought.
Jesus
they were put
Christ.
At the front line a lot of times.
They had a bunch of slave revolts too.
Used as maneuvering tactics in the war. Still to this day it happens. So they can't tell me a damn thing. They know their history. And especially when your grandpappy was spitting on mine when mine was just trying to go to school. No, thank you.
Exactly. Now let's get to this email I was sent before I have to wrap this up because time is moving along. So because I got to go to the barber chair here in a few get cleaned up here. Me and the boy. You always got to take your boy with you to get haircuts. That's a wonderful thing. All black men should do that. Anyway, I got an email from a sister.
I enjoyed that too. That was my favorite thing, going to the barber shop.
I got an email from a sister, and we'll try to answer it much as we can. So they asked me, Phil, can you give me some advice on how you would go about letting a sibling, a male, know that if he continued to date white women, you would disown him? He's very confused about himself. I'm not one to say that just because someone speaks properly, they're acting white. That said, my brother seems to identify heavily with white culture. Also, I've often wondered if he was gay. We talked about that earlier. I asked him if he was, and he said no. Maybe disowning him wouldn't be the best way. We very rarely talk about race. I try to bring up race relations up to him and what he thought about the police and all the shootings of black men. His text response to me was, and I quote, "Yeah, of course racism is a problem, and there is a lot of closet racists out there. No one can escape it. I just don't spend a lot of time focusing on negative issues like that. There's more to life than focusing on race problems." Man, it sounded like a lot of Caucasians in my comment section that say that, not a black dude. So she continues to say, he never talks about race and is quiet about the issue. Says she got a hold of his YouTube channel. He subscribes to a bunch of white women and men. Out of the 100 of his subscribers, 3 or 4 are black men, and mostly on some nerd tip. Anyways, I love my brother. I just want him to understand my sister and I aren't down with white people marrying into our family amongst us siblings while living in a white supremacist world where the good white folks, in quotation marks, are content with things being as is. What's the best way to go about this? How would you go about it? I would want it very clear. I don't want to accept white people in my family. I don't want them messing up the bloodline. And he's the only male. I don't want him carrying out our last name like this. Our last name is very unique. And there'll be no more black people with our last name in our city if he has children with these women. And that is the message. Chyna, what's your advice?
Well, I have always learned from other people's mistakes, failures, successes, experiences, right? So I'll give you a couple of experiences that I have learned from that might be able to help the situation out. So I hope she forgives me for this, and I hope she's not upset. But my girl Nicole, who is a Chicago hairstylist, she does my hair, and her son married a white woman, and she told him before he got married to her, because the woman got pregnant, she told him, if you marry this woman and you have this baby raised by this woman, I will not accept that child, and I'm writing you out of my will. And when she said that, I was just like, oh my God, well, damn. And instantly I thought, well, wow, that's a little bit extreme that you won't accept a baby. What did the baby do? But then I had to realize, and this is also, I was watching, shout out Cynthia G. I was watching Cynthia G's video yesterday, where she said, if you're not prepared to do things that will cause you a loss or make you uncomfortable, that's not verbatim, but if you're not prepared to do things that you don't want to do for the sake of your people, then you're not for your people. And she didn't want to reject her grandchild, but she made it very clear and very concise that if she did not raise that baby, or that's the option she gave him. She said, when that baby is born, you give that girl to me to raise, or you divorce her. He chose to divorce her.
So he divorced her in the end.
Now, I feel is being true to putting your money where your mouth is.
Well, let me see if I can get my opinion on this. She's upset that her brother is with a Caucasian female. I would love to talk to her like a back and forth, because I would like to know, is he always dealt with Caucasian females? Is it something that he just started doing? I mean, that's kind of like what I want to know. If he's been around black women, because there are some black women, and you know what I'm talking about, what you would call the white black girl, literally. I've seen them, right?
I'm gonna call that a lot.
Okay, for instance, maybe he would like one of them, possibly. Have you introduced him to maybe some of those kind of women? And there's out there, you say that the nerd types, maybe is into nerd things. Is he into cosplay? What is he into? My thing is, see if you could try to introduce people to your brother, possibly, that maybe, you should assess his type and see if you could bring it before him. Now, if he say all this stuff about he don't care about race and it's negative and all this other stuff, yes, it is negative and it can weigh you down. I get it. Trust me, I know. I do these news stories all the time. But reality in America gonna let him know that he's a black man. So you ain't gotta sit up there and tell him nothing. He gonna experience that eventually. It's gonna happen.
Absolutely.
I get what you're saying, especially about being the only male in your family, and you really don't want him to just destroy your lineage. I get that, but unfortunately, it's not your decision. I know it's a sad thing, but I speak in reality. It's not your decision. I think disowning him would push him further to those females. I think talking to him, don't cuss him out and all that other stuff. Try to holler at him and show him different, females that maybe that you could find or, whatever. Like, try to bring somebody better to him, but I don't think disowning him would do anything. Well, and maybe he give this female I don't know who say he's gonna have a child. He give this female and they may not work out because in society, the time period we're living in with Caucasian nationalism, Trump, all this other stuff, those relationships not gonna be too comfortable, period. And it's getting worse and worse, which is a good thing. What Chyna was talking about earlier, right? We're being forced to get back together, and I love it because Trump and them is making sure it happened. I don't know if you just heard, Chyna, Trump just sent the feds to your city. You heard anything about that?
No.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yeah, they said, yeah. Trump just sent a bunch of agents to Chicago and whatever. That's nothing good about that is going to happen. So what I'm saying is we're going to have to get back together. So if he chooses to do that, I know I see your position, but you may have to chuck that to the game, unfortunately.
Well, so what you're saying, no, I absolutely did not know about them sending the feds to Chicago. I do know about some things that have been going on in my neighborhood. That's a whole nother conversation because I think there's some really screwed up things happening in Chicago, and I see it. I see it happening. I was just having a conversation with somebody on Twitter this morning about how the train yards, I live in back of the yards, and we're full of train yards. And these train yards are stopping in the middle of the night and getting robbed accidentally. They're full of weapons. They're full of ammunition, guns, whatever. They're intentionally breaking down in the middle of Racine and 43rd, Racine and 47th, so that people can steal them to put these guns in the neighborhood. So I know it's about to go down, and I've been feeling it for the past couple years that some things ain't right. I made a 2-hour-long video actually with Nicole to talk about the breakdown of Chicago and why it's happening and where it came from. But as to the black man dating white women, you can't change his mind. You can't force him to do anything, but you're not forced to participate in it either. Right. Nobody can force you. And this is what we black people, rules and consequences. We need consequences for our actions. That's what I said in that video. When you attack a black person for the sake of a white person, you should have consequences for those actions. I grew up in Harvey, Illinois. It's a majority black town. It was the murder capital of the world at one point. My parents were addicted to drugs. I grew up seeing the head crack dealer in Chicago pulling up in a Bentley in front of my house. You know what I'm saying? I dealt with the real harsh realities, and people think because of my diction and my knowledge and my intellect and my words and the music I listen to that I didn't have a real life black inner city experience. I did, absolutely. And so when I was growing up, I rejected everything because I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be what I saw on the corner. I didn't want to have to deal with that. When I spoke, people made fun of me because of how I speak. I rejected all of it. I went to the north side of Chicago. I love rock and roll. I love metal music. I love video games. I love comic books. Obviously, I love comic books. Obviously, I love cosplay. I love all that nerdy things and all these excuses that black people give for not dating black people. But in reality, if you look through it, the foundation, the creation of all that was black people. Black people made rock and roll. Chuck Berry, Lil Richard, Sister Rosetta. We made that. We created that. We put all of that into motion. And so he's going to get his wake up call, and he better hold this before he's laying up on his deathbed. I got mine. I know for sure I got my wake up call. So it doesn't matter how you speak. It doesn't matter how you dress. It doesn't matter any of that. As long as you know who you are and where you come from. And it took me a while to realize that, because I had to have my own realization. I dated, I just found out yesterday that I dated a white man when I was 22, right? And he was a professor. And that's when I got my wake-up call. When I watched him and studied him, because I can't help it. That's just, I'm an analytical Virgo. I can't help it. I was watching his whiteness. And one day, one of my, what do you call it? Peers, somebody I went to school with, walked me home from the train station. We got off on the same train station. He's a big, dark-skinned, gorgeous black man. And my then boyfriend was standing outside about to walk to the train station to meet me, to walk me back to the to our condo. He saw him and he was ready to fight. And so when I walked up to him, he said, "Is that guy messing with you?" I ain't afraid of no nigger.
Wow.
I was like, "What did you just say?" That was it. That was it. And then I started looking back on our relationship and looking at all of the microaggressions, looking at all of the things that he would do and say, and his mannerisms and how he would act around people. I was a baby, 22. And so looking back, that was my wake-up call. And then I look back at all of my interactions before then. I'd never really had like a serious relationship before then. I look back at all of my interactions before then, and I realized this is the nature of the beast. And I just got a really up-close lesson of that beast. So he's gonna get his wake-up call. Just like Tiger Woods got his, but he just keeps going back for more.
You know, life is the greatest teacher of a lot of lessons. I can tell you that from my personal life. But with that being said, Chyna, definitely thank you for joining us on the show today. Getting some knowledge out there, and spreading a lot of information that people probably did not know. If any of you guys have not been to her page on YouTube, at least not Facebook, it's just Chyna Fox. Subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get her videos, her live streams. Chyna, you have any maybe possible email, anything else you want people to contact you on if they want to continue the conversation?
Sure. You can reach me through email at chynafoxt@gmail.com. So that's Chyna Fox, one word, or Chyna Fox T, one word, CHYNAFOXTEA @gmail.com. You can also reach me at chynafox.com. I've started my own website. I have shut down all of my Facebook pages. I've disabled them all because I refuse to be censored. But I've probably got 60,000 plus comrades on there. So please find me on Netflix.com or youtube.com/ChynaFox. And I just want to say that I appreciate you, Phil, for having me on your show again. I appreciate respectful dialogue. I'm an intense, passionate young lady, and so a lot of people are threatened by that. But you are absolutely a great man. You're a great thinker, and I appreciate your mind. I appreciate you sharing your platform with me. Thanks again.
Oh, I definitely appreciate the conversation, and like I said, you don't threaten me. I have children, so when you have children, Hey,
I got a 10-year-old Chihuahua. Thank you very much.
Oh, sure. When you got teenage girls, a son, and especially a little 2-year-old that's more sassier than anybody I've ever met, yeah, you learn how to not be afraid of too much. But thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure you subscribe to Chyna's channel, and see you next time.